What's happening, everybody? I'm Harry the Greek. Welcome to the Over-Under on 1252 Sports and the Sports Web. We're live tonight, Friday evening. It's about 8:30 in our coast, and of course, it's 7:30 up there. Tonight, we're going to have special guest, Mr. TK himself. Not many people know who he is, but you're going to get to really like this guy. Hell of a handicapper and really good with the ponies. And my co-host tonight, wait a minute, where is he? Hang on, let me check. Nope, he ain't here. But I'm going to give you a little preview. His first name is Fat. His last name is Mike, the very only one. I'll tell you what, buddy, we're going to have a really good time tonight. I've already started out with a little rocks in the glass. So this ought to get very interesting tonight. Man, what a week in baseball, guys. Really, seriously, what a week in baseball. I started out 6-0, and I went on a little bit of a cold streak, and I ended up going in tonight. I'm like 8-4. I got 2 pending plays right now. Everything seems to be going good as long as the White Sox can end up taking care of business against the Tampa Bay Rays. You know what? I'm not going to wait too much longer. I'm going to get right to it because we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to bring him in. What's up, Mr. Fat Mike?
What's up, Harry? Thanks for having me on tonight, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, my God. My pleasure. Hey, I just want to let everybody know, if you have a question or a comment, go ahead and post it. Mike and I are going to go ahead and read it live on the air. Hell, it might even give us a different narrative to talk about.
It could be.
But most importantly, we're live and interactive. You can call us right at the bottom of the screen. It's going to say this. If you have a question for the Greek and Pete, we'll just say that Fat Mike's Pete tonight, okay? Call 727-320-5866. It's 727-320-5866. I'm your host, Harry the Greek. And Mike, got a question for you. We're going to jump right into it. What about the White Sox, man? What are you thinking of them so far, with the exception of the 5th man in the rotation?
Listen, they're a good team, man. They're a really good team, and it didn't start off really well for them right now with all these injuries that they got going on. Losing Garrett Crochet, losing Lance Lynn with a knee, and then you got Giolito come out his first start with some side tightness. They were thinking oblique, and he put on 25 pounds, and then not only that, but then AJ Pollock goes down, and it's a mess for this team right now. But right now they look really good, and I tell you one thing, man, Tim Anderson wins over my heart every time I watch that kid play.
God, he
is unbelievable.
Man. Some part of me just turns around and says, play the game with dignity. Oh, my God, you're a punk. Why are you bat flipping? Keep doing it, man.
Yeah, he makes it exciting, man. He truly does. He makes it exciting. But I wish Tim Anderson would walk more. That's all. If he walked more and raised up that on-base percentage, that kid would be the best shortstop in all of baseball.
He doesn't really see. It's pretty hard pressed, man. I'm still a big Javi Baez fan. I really am. He reminds me. Same type of player as Baez. Seriously, same type of stick. Doesn't like to strike out. Doesn't see a whole ton of pitches. The difference is Tim Anderson can hit a breaking ball, I think, a little bit better. But Baez, overall, if I had a choice, and I love Tim Anderson, you give me Javi. Let me tell you something. He's a hell of a baseball player. I think he's got a better glove than TA.
Javi definitely does have a better glove than TA, but he doesn't hit as well as TA. Plain and simple.
I don't know, man. I do enjoy him. Hey, how about your Cubs?
Not too bad. Not too shabby as of right now, huh? They're looking okay.
No. I just wish I had it on the playback so I can play back what I had written.
I still think they're going to suck. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think they're going to be terrible. I think their max is 73 games, but, I mean, come on now.
I bet over.
I would take 73.
I'm just letting you know off air. I will tell you how much I bet because you're in for half of it. That's how certain I am that they're going over 73. As a matter of fact, Mike, I even gave away 2 games to get even better odds.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting 3-1 on my money.
Wow. Yeah, I know. I mean, I wouldn't be betting the Cubs that high. I still think they're going to stink. I mean, they are what they are.
The division stinks, Mike. St. Louis is overrated. Milwaukee's not going to be able to stay healthy. Let me give you my reasons why. That I don't think Milwaukee just may very well end up winning this division. But let me tell you something. It's not going to be a cakewalk. This team's got a lot of holes in it. They still don't hit, Mike.
Yeah, Milwaukee
Okay?
doesn't hit. Yeah.
No, they don't hit. Okay. And it's really hard to do two things: pitch well all season long, as you know, and stay healthy.
Right.
Now, for those of you down here in the Tampa Bay area that do follow my show and across the country, Fat Mike is well, let's just put it this way. I'm a hell of a handicapper, and I love baseball, and I know a lot about baseball. This man sitting to my right will forget more about this game than I'll learn, and that's a hell of a compliment. But you cannot deny when I tell you, Mike, that it's hard to pitch well the entire season and stay healthy. And when you have a propensity of not hitting the baseball, I don't care how good your pitching staff is.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, though. The coin goes both ways, though, Harry. Okay, the coin goes both ways. You're saying that the Cubs are going to win 75 games plus. Notoriously, this is a team that cannot hit the fucking baseball. I mean, seriously. Right now, you got Ian Happ. Right now, he's leading the major leagues in batting average with like a 700 plus batting average. That's not going to last. Ian Happ is going to end up batting 212 on the year because that's what Ian Happ does.
Well, isn't that the same thing we were saying about Tim Anderson 3 or 4 years ago before he won the batting title?
He always put wood on the ball. There's a difference. Ian Happ rarely puts wood on the ball.
We got a phone call coming in. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Over Under. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fabulous.
You're calling into the Over Under. It's a sports talk show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, I am?
Yes, you are.
I thought I was calling Harry.
You are calling Harry. You're calling Harry the Greek. I'll have to call you back.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I thought I was ordering a pizza.
I don't know. I thought I was ordering a pizza.
Is this Domino's?
Is this Domino's? Oh, I thought I was calling Harry. Yeah, you were calling Harry.
Oh, that's funny.
It was.
But yeah, I mean, the coin goes both ways, though, Harry. I mean, the Cubs pitching isn't going to last all year long either. They're already banged up. Kyle Hendricks did not look good this last start, completely missing his location over and over and over again against the Pittsburgh Pirates, nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Steele looks strong. Marcus Stroman goes tonight. And it's just like, okay, can these guys figure this out? Wade Miley's still a little banged up, still on the IL. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this Cubs team, man. I like Suzuki. I like Suzuki a lot. I think he's a stud. I like Seiya Suzuki, baby, MVP.
Listen, there's always a couple of teams in each division that always come up and surprise you. One in the American League, one in the National League. This year, I think it's going to be the Cubs in the National League. Not a whole bunch of marquee players. I'm telling you now, if this team is as good as I think they're going to play, and they're going to play way above their heads in the first half of the season, they are going to force this organization to shop because they're going to try to make a playoff run. I'm telling you, the division is within reach. They're in the perfect division for it. I'm telling you, Milwaukee's not all that in a bag of chips this year, and St. Louis definitely isn't. I see a lot of holes in these ball clubs, a lot of holes. A couple nights ago, I gave Baltimore over Milwaukee because I can't help myself because Baltimore was a huge underdog, and Baltimore's only won one game this entire year, okay, because I love home dogs. Milwaukee had one of their better pitchers on the mound. They tried to give them the game multiple times, Mike, multiple times. Baltimore, by all rights, should have won the game, but they didn't. And I've always made sense by saying, hey, you know what? The price always makes up for the pick. But they ended up losing that game. Look, their closer doesn't look as stout as he used to. Their setup guy was turning around, giving up. I mean, couldn't find the plate if a horseshoe was hitting him his ass. Okay, the sticks aren't there. It was just ridiculous. I mean, from what I was seeing, it's not the team. Now, I'm not saying that they can't get it together, but I'm telling you right now, it wouldn't surprise me after the first 50 games that the Milwaukee Brewers are under 500 and the Chicago Cubs are over 500.
Oof. I mean, like I said, though, Harry, I could definitely see that because the aging hitting and the lack of hitting on the Milwaukee Brewers side. Yelich has not been the same guy since his MVP year. He's obviously banged up more so than what everybody thinks. That back issue that he has up there, it's killing him. I mean, it's absolutely killing him up there. It truly is. Lorenzo Cain is older by the day, older by the minute. I mean, the one main guy that I see that they have that can actually hit, and he doesn't really hit for average, is their first baseman, Tellez.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a big banger, but he reminds me so much of that Dan Vogelbach that the Pittsburgh Pirates has. You know, he's just like this big lumbering, bumbling body that's over there stuck at first base.
No,
he's not that great. He just ties. Don't throw the guy a fastball. That's all you need to know. Don't throw him a fastball.
Okay, so who do you like other than the Cubs in the National League? Not a team. No, not in the NL Central. Anybody in the National League that you think can make a deep run in the playoffs, other than the obvious teams, than the New York Mets, who, by the way, I picked to go to the World Series this year, or the Los Angeles Dodgers. Who out there? Who's a sleeper out there?
I think the Phillies got some bop, but they need to focus on their pitching too. I mean, grabbing Schwarber, Harper, Alec Baum. I mean, they got so many guys out there, and I know I'm missing a few to be on. Nicholas Castellanos, they loaded up this offseason, but they still lack on pitching. They're one of my favorites out of the NL East. I think the Cardinals win the Central here. And a sleeper team out in the West. I know that that's everybody's hot on San Diego. Everybody's hot on the Dodgers because, well, the Dodgers are always there. But still, don't sleep on the Giants. We saw what the Giants did last year with that pitching staff. Had a great little run there. Kept the division on from the All-Star break on. They always had the lead in the division. That was a damn good team to watch. And they're a fun team to watch. They got a lot of pitching. They are solid in their pitching staff.
You know, I see our special guest in the background right now, but the only problem with it is I don't have a video. It says the device is not connected. Tom Kelley, I know you can hear me, okay? So this is what I need you to do. At the bottom of whatever piece that you're using, you'll see where it says stop cam or start cam. We'd like to see that pretty face of yours. I'm going to go ahead and bring you in and just see. Well, I can't even bring you in. You know why? Because he's still not connected. Oh, that's not good.
They'll figure it out.
They will need to connect their mic and cam before you can add them to the stream.
I'll shoot him a text really quick.
I'm going to go ahead and read some of the comments here. Troy Polamalu. Troy, this, my friend, is the best troll in the entire world. Love him. Says first, Troy says, let's talk money. You said Watson wouldn't start the season, and I told you bet. Still don't think he's going to start this season. Yeah, he's
still not going to start the season.
I still don't think he's going to start. Christian, how are you? Hey, Christian, thank you so much for tuning in. My comment, Fat Mike would enjoy this. F Apple TV, go White Sox.
Yes, I am not a fan of Apple TV whatsoever. This is ridiculous. We live in a Chicago market. I'm looking all over for the game tonight, and I can't find the game. You want to know why? Because it's on Apple TV. So then I had to download Apple TV on my PlayStation, and now I got to delete it in 3 months before I get charged $4.99. Ridiculous.
You know, talking about your Philadelphia Phillies, they're losing right now in the bottom of the sixth against Miami. Miami's up, no outs, bases loaded, 6-0. The New York Yankees are beating Baltimore 1-0. Oakland's losing to Toronto. Big surprise there, huh? 2-0 right now in the top of the sixth. Washington's up on Pittsburgh 5-2. San Fran's 2-0 in the sixth inning against Cleveland. It's a interdivisional game. Hang on. Speak for me, Mike.
What's that? Interdivision game?
Yeah, interleague. That's an interleague.
Gotcha.
St. Louis at Milwaukee. Here, we were talking about that. How about St. Louis? You talk about holes. 5-0 in the second inning. There's your pitching for Milwaukee. Detroit and KC knotted up at 0 in the third. Yep. And I can't tell you what the White Sox are doing because it's on Apple TV.
The last time I checked, they were up 2-0.
Christian says Cubs are going to yuck. LOL, just kidding. No, it's okay. You don't like them, you don't like them. I mean, I'm not a Cub fan, but maybe a closet Cub fan. I'm a huge Sox fan.
The Cubs are not going to be a good team, but I mean, I do think they'll be better than what everybody thinks. But I'm saying still 73 games.
Absolutely. Christopher Cole says, "Hey guys, happy Good Friday and Passover." Hey, Chris, happy.
I forgot the holidays coming up. How about
that's right. You got Easter coming up. It's the regular. The regular Christian Easter is this week. Next week, as a matter of fact, is Greek Easter. even though it's the same Easter. It's just that the Greeks go by the older calendar, and it's every 7 years it falls on at the same time. Dusty Boyd says, love the show. Dusty, how are you? Keep up the good work down there in Amarillo, Texas. Great radio stations down there. Christian's with a big dying of laughter. And Christian also says, gotta love live production. Why, what did we do wrong?
Who knows? It's probably because TK's still in the background there.
Come on, TK.
He says he sees us perfectly, so just try adding him.
Well, there's nothing to add. I can't bring him on. It won't even let me add him. He's not even there. He needs to tell him to reboot his computer if he's trying to come on from there.
I'll try.
Troy Polamalu says, what an inning and how many quarters are in baseball? Troy, you are such a dingbat. I love it. Ben Cornett, what's happening, Mr. Ben? Cubs 75-81 is about what I predict. Better team than some think. Ben, I completely agree with you. You know, I mean, the over and under, I couldn't help myself with 73. I think this club finishes over 500 this year. I think they make a run for the playoffs. I really do. Troy says baseball is for American Malakas. Does anybody need an education on what Malacca means?
Troy Polamalu's a douche.
Well, anyway, Malacca is it's the international Greek word. We'll leave that alone. Misador, what's up, me?
Hey.
Misador, says Harry. Me's up there in the armpit of Chicago in a town called Gary or Crown Point, one of the two. I love you, me. Christian says the live phone call is what I got a good laugh at. That was live.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It definitely was
Domino's?
live.
I like an order of cinnamon twists.
I'd like a cinnamon twist. Here he is again. Tom Kelley's in the back. Can't bring him in. Won't let me do it.
Oh, awesome.
Tom, what I think you got to do, buddy, is reboot your computer or your cell phone, whichever one you're trying to come on, because it's maybe follow the instructions. I think you'll see it. Misador says, Hobart, you north side bathroom attendant. Me? You mean you must be talking about Mike, because I'm a south sider, brother. True and blue. Even when I moved further south. I'm down here on the west coast of Florida. I don't know how much further south you want me to get. Troy says, Harry, can I trade you 2 noodles for a honey bun? I know, Troy. I know you're waiting for someone to call in for a little prison bake hot takes. I thought that was pretty good. Hey, if you like the show and you want to help us grow, make sure you hit the like button and take a moment and go ahead and put this on your own Facebook page and share it. Share it to somebody else or include it on YouTube. Do whatever you can. We always like to do that because that's how we grow organically. Christopher Cole says, I'm rooting for the Cubs no matter how they look. Oh, look who it is. Hey, Tom, can you hear us?
Not Tom.
Oh, who that? Oh, that's you.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
I'm trying to figure out Tom's stuff right now.
I don't know how you can do that. Misador says Facebook. I don't know what I was talking about. Hey, me, don't you love live production? That brings me up to another subject. And I really wanted to wait for Tom Kelley. He's going to actually kill me for even talking about this because I know Mike doesn't like to talk about horses. But I don't know about you. I am so looking forward to the early part of May because that's when the Kentucky Derby starts. And all the races for the past month and a half have been leading up to this one big, huge race. And I'll tell you what, there have been a lot of really good races. Earlier in the week in Keeneland, there was a single winner. Now, I may or may not know that person that cashed for $300,000, but it was a single ticket, and there was the only ticket live at Keeneland in the entire world. They had a pair of 70-1 shots hit, and it was just something. It was a spectacle. I'll tell you what, it was really cool. Misador says feedback. That was the other part. Ben Cornett says, where's Bandit? I don't know. I can see Bandit. He's laying on top of the cat tree on the other side of the ruin bend, and he's completely crashed. He's kind of waiting at the door for Peter Blake, but he decided he didn't want to come over tonight. Misador says, LOL, I have 2 left hands when I produce. What are you doing with the right hand, me? Or should we not ask that question? What do you think, Mike? No, that's not nice. Misador says, ooh. Have we figured out Tom Kelley yet?
We're working on it. We're getting there.
Is he communicating with you?
He is. He says that he says that he could hear and see us. He's like, and then I saw my mic was working, switched to cam, and it shows me. Trying again now.
Oh,
So
God.
hopefully it works here.
Oh, there he is. Oh, hang on. This is going to be so much nicer. Is this TK himself?
The complete
Oh, there we
reboot
go.
did it. It took a complete reboot. That's what it was.
That's what I said. Just reboot it. We're
Uh,
just sitting around here. I'm trying to be loquacious, going, "Hey, Mike, help me out here, buddy." I'm like flailing hardcore here.
Yeah,
I'm
I heard
waiting for I want to
I
ask
heard
him
you
questions.
struggle with intradivisional there.
And that's because of this. I got the rocks going. You like that? Ah, salute. Tom, a lot of people don't know who you are, especially down in this neck of the woods. I would like for you to take a moment. Give us, let's just kind of like a little get to know you segment. Where are you from? What do you do? How did you end up getting on Harry the Greek show with the over-under? I mean, just give us a little background on you.
Just born and raised south side of Chicago for all my life. 57 years now, unfortunately.
Sox fan, though, right? Hold on. Sox fan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good. Keep going.
Yep, definitely. Got to know you guys through our first encounter with Fred Hubner's retirement show that we did on here, and got to know Mike a little more on the first day or second day, I should say, of the NCAA tournament. We had a great time that day. I'd like to strangle him a little bit on Miami, but then
Miami, baby, Miami.
Miami sucks.
the guy's got one team he knows. It's the only school name he knows now, and it's killing me. Unfortunately, they've got a team in every sport. But I came up through the ranks of Sports Phone, and during that time, started working at the racetrack, doing a variety of things, writing stories, handicapping. 37 years later, we're still at the racetracks, or what's left of them here in Chicago. And
now you currently work for Hawthorne, correct?
Actually, for the state of Illinois.
So now
not
you're
for
working with the
Hawthorne,
state.
State of Illinois. So used to work for Hawthorne, then a little 2-year stint in Indiana, and now back here and back home and working for the state.
Now, you were the prognosticator at the bottom of the program and in the forum that used to put down, what would they call it, TK's picks?
We went with Trot and Tom on there.
Trot and Tom.
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, when we first started at Balmoral back in the days, was actually doing like 3 jobs from there at one time. It was hilarious. I'd be doing the Sports Phone stuff for the racing lines and writing stories for them, and then took on a job as a placing judge as well. And had all kind of things going, and then there was some work for another racing line, a 900 number. The Sports Phone was just doing the 976 stuff at that time. So back in those days, I had a part of the program that was called Kelly's Corner, and the same way we would have people on, I'd do TV interviews with them and things like that. And from there on, it just progressed into becoming the director of publicity, and then, as I said, into the judging end of it.
I got some friends at TVG, just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just tell you how
Know 'em
influential
well.
let's just say how influential I am and a very close friend of mine are. First year of COVID-19, when the Breeders' Cup was down in Keeneland, as it is again this year, they only had 50 people in the entire world. Okay?
Yep.
50 people in the entire world went to Keeneland to go see it for the 3 days, other than the trainers, the owners, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I was one of the 50 people through TVG. Wow. Okay.
Strong.
Yeah. And we had a really, really good time. Shout out to my buddy, John Bowe. Let me tell you something. He's, you'll understand what this means. He's my put up.
Gotcha.
Okay. 100%. Doesn't make a difference. He's my put up. We had a really good week that week. I'll tell you what, it was extraordinary. We hit both pick 4s. Do you remember what they paid? Let's put it this way. In back-to-back days, Tom, we had a 70-1 shot sprinkled in there.
Wow. That's
35.
Given the size of pools in a Breeders' Cup.
Oh, you're sick.
I mean, it's amazing. You could have the same 4 horses, odds-wise, win in a normal day at Hawthorne. It would pay $2,000. You'd have those 4 horses win with those odds in a Breeders' Cup where you have 12, 14 horses in a race.
In 16.
Yeah, that's
Right.
that is why horse players need to play into pools. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. I see it now still. I saw it in the harness meet that just completed at Hawthorne before the thoroughbreds started. You could have a 6 or 7 horse field of our best pacers or trotters. This is going back to the harness meet. And they bet a complete total of maybe 60,000 into the race, given win, place, show, and all the exotics and things like that. For people that don't know what exotics are, those are your pick 3s, pick 4s, your exactas. You put a field of $4,000 claimers, which is basically the bottom of the barrel horses that are in for the cheapest price to be claimed. They can change hands. Somebody wants to drop 4,000 on them. But if you put a field of 10 out there, those where they're pretty evenly matched and you don't have a huge favorite, you'll end up with 100,000 in the pools, 110,000 in the pools. So basically 50, 60,000 more, even though they're betting on horses that are, not even a quarter of the class of these other horses. So horse players need fields and pool sizes to bet into. Otherwise, you're betting against your own money.
No, without question. And you know what? A wise man once told me, and I'm not trying to bore Fat Mike to death because he's not really that affluent with pari-mutuel wagering.
The only reason I don't understand horses because a horse bit me one time, and it's been I was like 11 years old. It's been downhill with me and horses since. We just got a bad reputation together.
Yeah, they are a little aggressive. But anyway, what I was trying to tell you is that first one we hit for 35 dimes. You can go back and look at it. I didn't have more than 4 horses in each leg, which is very unusual. I usually spread pretty hard. Okay. Actually, no, I did. I'm lying. It was a $200 play. It was 4-5-4-4. I think that's what it was. And the next day.
And hold on, Harry, just for people to figure out a cost of a ticket like that, when Harry said 4-5-4-4, just do your multiplication. 4 times 5 times 4 times 4. That'll give you your cost of a $1 ticket, and they're usually 50-cent bets, so you can cut
and divide it by the 2.
Yep.
Thank you, Tom. I was going to go ahead and clarify that at the end. But here's the funny one. You can get a kick out of this. Now, John Bowe is a really good friend of mine, and as I said, he's my bank when it comes to to any kind of pari-mutuel wagering. He says, "You want to play that pick 4 again?" There's a bear shit in the woods? Of course. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, by the way, you don't want to know. I didn't play the pick 5, and I had a bullet in the first leg. Oof. Just to let you know. So if it paid 35 dimes for the pick 4, what do you think the pick 5 paid?
Oh, I'm guessing close to 6 figures.
No, it was. It was well over 6 figures. There were 3 winners. It was $250,000.
I figured I knew it would be in the 6s. Wow.
Anyway.
Again, so pool size.
The pools were just sick. Oh, guess what? We're going to get back to that. Tom, I got a little treat for you.
All right.
Prepaid call from
Ryan.
You're going to love this.
An inmate at a Florida Department of Corrections institution.
To accept this call, press 0. To refuse your current balance.
This is an edition of Prison Break Hot Takes. I have no idea.
3 cents. This call is from a corrections facility.
I've been doing this now for about 3 weeks.
And recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Welcome to the Over Under. How are you? What's your name and where are you calling from?
It's RJ, guys. How are y'all doing?
RJ, how are you, man? It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I couldn't call last week. They had me locked down from last Friday afternoon until Monday morning.
Yep, I got a different guy on the mic with us tonight. We do not have my sidekick, the Rolex reporter himself, Mr. Peter Blake. We have Fat Mike from 1252 Sports, and we have TK, which is Mr. Tom Kelley out of Chicago, professional handicapper. Gentlemen, I want you to meet RJ. He's part of the Department of Corrections. Absolutely loves sports. We give him a platform to go ahead and talk about it. I've seen it done one time before. I'll leave that. Actually, I was telling Mike about it. It became pretty successful. And I'll tell you what, you're going to be kind of impressed. We can go ahead and shoot. We're going to shoot him some, not literally shoot, because that's probably what got you in prison, but we don't want to go there.
Choice of words is everything here.
I know. Choice of words is everything, isn't it?
Right.
RJ, meet Mike.
Stab you in the middle of this segment. I mean, nope.
hate this
I don't
guy.
need to escape from this segment or anything.
You know what? We're doing absolutely awesome. You know, we were talking about something you probably don't know too much about. We were talking a little bit about horse racing, but I know what you want to talk about, baseball or football. Which one is it, RJ?
Wherever you guys want to go. I know a little bit about horse racing, not so much this year, but in the past and previous, I kind of do. I've got a step grandfather, actually, my mom's second cousin's grandparents. Guy owned one of the largest thoroughbred horse farms in Kentucky in Lexington.
Really?
Yeah. His name's Ken Ramsey. Used to. He sold most of it now. But a while back, he used to have a horse in the Derby almost every year.
Ken Ramsey. That name's actually familiar. Tom, does that ring a bell with
Yeah,
you?
big time. The Ramseys they've been in thoroughbred racing for 40 years, 50 years. Yes.
Now tell me, RJ, the Ramseys didn't put you in there, right?
No.
Okay. All right. Now,
Can I ask you what did put you in there?
oh my God. Hey, hang on. Don't drop the soap, Mike. Stop. RJ, what put you in there? Now, you don't have to go full description or disclosure, but for the people out there that are tuning in for the first time, we're talking to RJ from the Florida DOC. He's currently locked up. RJ, how long are you in there for?
17 years.
Got 17 years. How many more you got left to go, buddy?
If I have to do the entire thing without any game time, which is what they're telling me, which I don't understand because it's not what I took a plea deal for, it would be 14 more years. If I can get some game time the way I'm hoping, it'd be just under 12.
How long you been in now? And how old are you?
31. I've been in here for incarcerated total this time anyways, for about 2.5 years. I was in county jail for 23 months. And I've been in the Department of Corrections since the end of last July.
That's a long time. So tell us, RJ, who do you like this year? What's your favorite sport, and what do you want to talk about? I know you can go either direction, not literally. Don't tell people that, but I know you can flip flop and talk about different sports. But what do you want to talk about?
We can talk about some NFL draft coming up. We can talk about baseball. I still
No hockey, really? Because I got like a huge hockey guy, Mr. Tom Kelley. TK is like, I want to talk
one of the
hockey.
very few sports that I follow kind of, from afar, but I'm not huge into it, being raised in the South and everything. Not up north. It's just not something that I've ever extremely gotten into. I'm glad I follow from afar though, kind of just like I wouldn't say avid, but just
Casual fan. You're a casual fan.
Yeah, occasionally. I pay attention to the main things that's going on, with Pittsburgh and Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, and stuff like that. But I don't know a whole lot.
Being from the South this year, you've got two way better than average chances at a Stanley Cup there with the Panthers and Tampa Bay.
I fucking hate
But the Lightning cheat all the time.
They do cheat. Cocksuckers.
Will you guys stop?
They do. They cheat.
Cheating assholes.
Tampa Bay's been turned into a little bit of a dynasty past couple of years.
The whole city of Tampa Bay's turned into a dynasty. It's Champa Bay. It's not Tampa Bay. It's Champa
Oh my
Bay.
God! Shut up with the whole Tampa Bay shit already.
They've tried to turn into the Edmonton Oilers of the 80s and 90s.
You're right. What they've done here in Tampa Bay, and I think Tom will attest to this. I mean, it's far short of a miracle. I mean, it's miraculous what they've been able to do with that organization. I'm going to tell you right now, I love what the Chicago Blackhawks did some years back. But those teams were great, but not for as long as this team is. I mean, this Tampa Bay organization just keeps putting it together year after year after year.
I mean, come on now. The Hawks won 3 cups in 5 years.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a dynasty? That was a dynasty as a whole. That team was unbelievable.
With the
Tom, go ahead, take over.
Restrictions as tight as they are now, and guys, I'm telling you, I've never seen a team do so much with 3rd and 4th line players as Tampa does, and that's why every team is looking at the trade deadline for one of Tampa's 3rd or 4th line guys. And it turns into a 1st or 2nd
Didn't
line.
Chicago take a 3rd or a 4th line guy and turn him into a front line guy? I mean,
they just took 2 of them from him, Taylor Radish and Boris Kachuk.
I thought there was only 2. I thought there was only one of them. I didn't realize.
Yeah, and they sent Brandon Hagel there, and Hagel hasn't done much. I mean, I know still getting acclimated there. But I'm telling you, whatever they're doing, whatever work ethic that they stress and everything else, it's just look at the guys. I mean, Seattle, they jumped right on a Tampa player in the expansion draft this year. It just
Right.
they've got some really good high frontline players, but it's their middle of the lineup, back of the lineup that I think makes them go. I mean,
Yeah, they're just so deep on their non-scoring lines. Their checking lines,
They
their
are.
defense line are it's just so deep, and they still put the puck in the net. Every one of their guys has hands.
Yeah.
Every single one of their third line, fourth line guys has hands like Dustin Bufflin, where they can score at will.
and they won't
Yeah.
hesitate to run you through the boards.
Right, like it's like who was that jagoff on Philadelphia with the hair? Hartnell.
Scott Hartnell. back
I
in the day.
fucking hated Scott Hartnell, but that guy somehow, some way, always seemed to put 18 pucks in the back of the net every single year, whether it be a garbage goal, whether it be just him being an asshole, or whether it be a slap shot from the point. He was a guy. He could put the puck in the net. He had a nice stick on him.
That's what
RJ, you
Yanni
could tell this
Gourde
is
was
rated
for
R
that.
tonight.
That was what Yanni Gourde was for
Not
them.
something I know too much about, guys. It's one of the very few sports that I don't know too much
Well,
about.
let's get RJ back.
Let's get RJ back in here. He's probably got like 13 seconds left on that quarter that he dumped in here.
No, buddy, I'm the one who sponsors it. He's calling on my dime.
Oh, well, no, then ride this dime, RJ. Ride it for all it's worth,
I
bud.
heard on the phone call, wasn't it?
Hey, RJ, we got a question or a comment. Christopher Cole says, so what are the chances that the Bulls make a deep playoff run? He's referring to the NBA. RJ.
In my opinion, not very likely. They have not been very good against the top teams in the East the entire year. Their record against Miami and Milwaukee and Boston the entire season has just not been very good.
You forgot about Philadelphia and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Philly-
And the Suns and the Lakers and everybody else.
By Toronto.
What do you attribute that to? I mean, even this team is by far a lot better than what they have been in the past, I don't know,
Absolutely,
decade.
absolutely. And Demar Derozan has been an animal this year, and I'm a huge Demar Derozan fan. He's one of the few players in the league still that he does not have to have the three ball in his arsenal to go out there and score 25, 28 points a game. He gets to the basket, and he knows his strengths really well with being a mid-range shooter. Him and Zach LaVine both. I think them losing Lonzo Ball didn't help them a lot this year. But they have not been strong against the top teams in the East at all.
What do you think their biggest problem, their biggest need is if they were to make a deep playoff run? What position do you think they needed to fill? Other than just staying healthy this year with Zach LaVine being injured and what was his name? The guy from the what the hell's his name? The guy from the Lakers.
Vooch?
No, forget.
Pick me.
No, forget about no. Now I'm not picking you yet, Mike. I want to know from RJ. What do you think their biggest need is?
I think they need to get probably better power forwards and centers. They're not very strong in the post at all. They've got really good defenders on the wing and on the 3-point line, but they don't have very good big men in my opinion.
Nothing personal. You just made an oxymoron statement. You said that the NBA. You talking about defenders? I haven't seen anybody play defense in the NBA in years.
Well, you know, this is the kicker with this, man.
There's not very much less of it. You're definitely right about that.
The numbers I've seen on totals this year is absolutely obscene. I mean, every game was in the 230s, 238, almost 240.
Right.
Just bet the over every day and you cash.
And this all correlates to this is what I'm going to say here. I listened to an interview with JJ Redick. Everybody knows who JJ Redick is here. I mean, the guy's played for like fucking all 40 NBA teams, even the ones that are folded and under at this point. I'm pretty sure he was playing at the ABA years because the guy was on every single team ever. But I listened to an interview with JJ Redick the other day. He's like, everybody who says that the defense is non-existent nowadays, he's like, they're fucking nuts. And like this is like word for word verbatim what he says. Like he's like, everybody said that defense is non-existent anymore. He's like, they're nuts. He's like, these players nowadays are just that good at scoring. And I don't buy that for fucking 1 second.
Yeah, it's not that it's not non-existent. It's that the game is stretched out to the 3-point line so much. And
Yeah.
when you have extremely good scorers and extremely good shooters that are shooting 38, 40, 42% from the line on almost every team, and teams like the Atlanta Hawks who live and die by the three, Golden State, when Curry and Klay Thompson are healthy, the main production of their scoring comes from the 3-point line. So naturally, you're shooting a shot that puts up an extra point, scores are going to be higher up. But it's not to say the defense is gone and it's non-existent. I mean, you look at Boston. Boston turned around their whole season this year because of defense.
But RJ, find me a guy in the league other than Patrick Beverly, and he gets paid for just being an asshole and
I love Patrick Beverly.
irritating everybody. But find me a guy who cashes a paycheck off his defense in the NBA.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm asking what if you can find me a guy who cashes his paycheck in the NBA because of his defense.
That doesn't or does?
That does.
Rudy Gobert.
Who?
Rudy Gobert, center for the Jazz.
He fits in the Beverly asshole category too.
All right, I have a question for anybody that wants to answer this, and I don't think this is going to be up RJ's wheelhouse. Dennis Rodman, Charles Oakley, great defensive players. How would they fare in today's game? How frustrated do you think these offensive-minded teams would be playing against them?
They would drive them nuts.
I see, and I don't think that they would matter.
I didn't get to watch most of them growing up, but I've watched. I love the history of the sports that I enjoy. So I've gone back and studied what I enjoy, especially basketball and football and baseball. I know the history of a lot.
There wasn't a center in the NBA, including Shaq, Patrick Ewing, the kid Hakeem Olajuwon. There wasn't a center anywhere in the NBA that wanted to go up against a guy that was 6 inches shorter and about 50 to 75 pounds lighter. Am I right or wrong, guys?
And that's when
No.
centers were centers. And they posted down low. They didn't stand up around the 3-point line looking to shoot.
Right.
Nope.
And that's the thing, but that's why I think also that those guys would be kind of null and void, especially somebody like Charles Oakley, somebody like Patrick Ewing. They wouldn't be able to defend the perimeter like these guys can nowadays. Which one of those, out of any of those old school centers, out of any of those old school power forwards, name one of them that can guard Joel Embiid?
No.
None of them.
But
there wouldn't be anybody because the big man position is in transition so much
Right.
to where
Joel Embiid is he's a freak show.
Do everything.
That's
Yeah, Joel
why-
Embiid is awesome.
Yeah, that's why if you had a Ewing come out to guard one of those guys at the 3-point line and they got around him, you'd have an Oakley right there to knock him on his ass the minute he got around him and head him for the basket.
Yeah.
Listen, old 90s basketball and early millennium basketball, 80s, 90s, and up to maybe 2005 was the best basketball that I had ever witnessed
Absolutely.
in my entire life.
Agree 100%.
Yep.
I mean, and again, I'm not saying this because I'm a homer. The Chicago Bulls are the best assembled team that ever played in the in the NBA. Period. Sounds like someone's screaming back there. You okay? You're not going to get shanked or anything, are you, RJ?
I ain't trying to hear that crap. I ain't got time for all that. People who just want to be petty to be petty.
No, I understand. Tell them you're on a
all
show
good.
and you're telling
No
them, hey, no, you don't have to apologize, RJ. We understand the kind of, just make sure you're not going to have your back to anybody.
I'm just so impressed that he's calling.
Impressed. I love it. We've been doing this for 3 or 4
I'm
weeks.
floored, absolutely.
RJ has called a couple of times. His knowledge. I mean, RJ, tell us. You know what? For the people that are out there just tuning in for the first time, and some of the guests that that don't know much about us, take us through a typical day, if you don't mind. It's kind of a get to know you session. Take us through a typical day from the time you get up. What do you do to the time you go to bed?
I mean, when I get up, I try to read as much about sports as I honestly can. I download the AP News on my tablet, so I pretty much take a lot of time reading on there every day. Go to lunch and come back. I take some time to myself to do a Bible study and some devotion and prayer, and then it's working out and reading. Go to dinner, watch a little bit more TV. And I spend as much time as I can early in the morning and late at night listening to ESPN radio and any other sports stations that I can pick up on AM at nighttime.
How are you able to listen? How are you able to access that stuff, RJ?
They give them a tablet in prison now.
Yeah, they give you a tablet in Florida Department of Corrections now.
So you can like look at porn and shit like that too.
No, man. Mike.
I'm not gonna say yes or no. I'm gonna say it's not
Mike,
allowed.
he can't answer that question.
Everything he's doing and how he keeps up with it, and
Not gonna say yes or no. I'm just gonna say it's not allowed. I'm not gonna say
Okay, gotcha.
There is not in here on them, but
Right.
Hey, I thought that was a legit question, guys. I'm sorry. I want to know what it's like.
No, it's a legit question. We love it. I just thought it took us some cojones.
No, I mean, come on. It's not. It's not.
What,
No,
the
it
way he
doesn't take
described
cojones.
it
It's
almost
fucking
sounds
it's
like
being honest. I
vacation.
want to know.
like when you were in the can.
It's like Club Med. It sounds like. So, what time do you eat chow in the morning?
about 5:30.
5:30
in the morning.
That's when you roll in, Mike.
They started.
Yeah, I
They
know.
started at about. They started at right after 4.
See, Mike, you got a place to go for now.
Yeah, I
Hey,
know.
you get 3 squares a day. You can work out.
Don't have to
If
pay
Mike was
rent. I
on
get
that
porn on my.
schedule,
I get 3 square meals a day. 3 square meals a day, a bed, a toilet, a sink, and porn on my tablet. I'm fucking in. Let's go.
That's it.
I'm moving tomorrow.
You may be closer than you know, buddy.
Mike, that's why your
Yeah.
hands are so hairy.
I know.
Misador
That's why I'm
says
going
if you and your Uncle Jack were right, really me, I'm not going to read that one. Troy Palomalu says, free all my homies in the pen.
Troy Polamalu's back. That's what's up.
That's what's up. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Not trying to make it sound light of it. You do make it sound a lot better. I love your attitude and your disposition. You got 17 more years to go.
You have to.
No, 14.
You have to.
I know you do.
Not to, like I said, I'm kind of deeply in my faith. That's helped me a lot. There's a Bible scripture in James 1 that says, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. So let patience have its perfect work so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. So I try to carry that along with me every day. It's all, you can't do anything but just be grateful for the things that you do have, man, and the blessings that you still are bestowed upon you. And
there's a lot of things in life that people take for granted, like life itself.
Absolutely.
For the everyday things that we can get up and do, like going to the bathroom by yourself or whatever the case is. It's
even being in here, man. You can think about there's so many places that you could be incarcerated in third world countries. So it's and even people that have their freedom, they are still living extremely worse than what we are in here. So it's got to be grateful for everything and just continue to try to grow and continue to gain knowledge mentally and intellectually, and surround yourself with the right people in here, which there aren't very many of them. But
nope. Tom, you got a question for RJ?
No, I just wanted to tell him. I mean, like I said, I am absolutely in awe of his attitude and the spirit he has kept up. And believe me, my thoughts and prayers are going to be with him every day that he can continue on this road and somehow see the light of day on that side. I'm afraid by the time he gets out, horse racing may not be around anymore.
No, horse racing will be around. They banned dog racing. We don't even want to go there. The libs got that already taken care of. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Troy Polamalu says, in prison, we got Apple tablets. Thank you, DeSantis.
Ours aren't Apple, but they got tablets. They're better than nothing.
Mike, you got a question from my boy, Mr. RJ?
RJ, you keep calling in, man. Make sure you keep on calling in to us here because it's a lot of fun talking to you, man. It's been my pleasure. I really do appreciate it. And keep your head up in there, man.
I thank you for that very much. And trust me, it's very hard to get on this phone on a Friday night, but I'm trying to call in every Friday that I can. I know we didn't get to talk a whole lot of sports this week, but he can tell you when we talked a couple weeks ago, I do have a vast amount of knowledge and a lot of.
No, I can tell. I can tell. I can tell you're not a shithead. I can tell you're not a shithead. You keep calling in, man.
Because I wanted to become familiar with your story and everything. I mean, that's
I had to because
be back on a night when we just talk sports with you.
Yep. No, I would love that. I'm going to invite Tom Kelley back on. I want to sit here and talk sports with you and everything else. But when I have 2 people that haven't been on my show who were really not acclimated to what Prison Break hot takes are, I wanted to let them get to know you a little bit. The same way we did with Peter.
Absolutely, and I appreciate it. It's good to do that and for people to, build a rapport and a relationship with somebody that's calling in. And like I said, when I told you a couple weeks ago, I'm grateful for the opportunity to get to call in and be on a podcast. This is something that I couldn't have dreamed about, honestly. And this will make my week every week, put a huge smile on my face.
Hey, RJ, I got a question for you.
Yes,
Are you guys able to listen to podcasts through your tablet?
No. Very limited on what we can do on there without them being jailbroken.
Gotcha. I was just saying, if you ever get the opportunity to, man, there's a good podcast out there. It's called Crime and Sports, and it's about all the knuckleheads that got in trouble, like Mike Tyson and Bob Probert and all those other guys. You guys should, if you ever get a chance, listen to those guys. It'll eat up a lot of your time. There's like 500 episodes of them. They're all like 3 hours long.
Oh my!
By the time you're done with them, by the time you're done with all of them, you'll be getting released from prison, bud.
All right, RJ, you ready? The first 5 picks in the first round in the NFL draft, who are they? Go. I hope he ain't getting into a fight.
Yeah, hey, whatever. These people are petty, man.
Are they upset with you because you're on the phone?
Yeah, who cares?
No, bro. Seriously, I'm gonna let you go, man. I don't want you. I don't want to be the reason why someone gets it with you.
No, you're absolutely good. I'll do my best to be able to call you guys next week. I thank you all for letting me call in.
Hey, you want to give me who's going to go first in the NFL draft?
I got to stick with Aiden Hutchinson, man. I think Jacksonville takes him.
Next pick.
Either Thibodeau or there's another defensive end. I can't remember his name, right, that they're talking about up there.
Okay. That's good. We got his first 2. Mike, you're going to write those down?
I already know him. I agree with him.
Hey, RJ, I've got a little in with somebody that knows Hutchinson well, and you can get yourself a little wager on that. You think you're going to make out all right. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
He says that looks like a lock. RJ, thank you so much for calling us from the Florida DOC. You can call in next week, or I'll tell you what. Have Michael give us a call. Either way, we'll talk to you soon. Actually, you both can call because I can 4-way it in here. It'd be pretty cool.
All right, I'll try to let him know. I see him when I go to chow. So.
Be blessed, brother. You take care of yourself. Keep your head low and keep looking straight, okay?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a blessed week.
Take care.
Take care, man.
100%. What is that?
100%.
Hang in there, RJ.
That was RJ.
That's fucked up, though, at the same time, man. I feel bad for the guy. I really do.
I know what he was in there for. I'm not going to divulge it, but let's just put it this way. The plea bargain that he took, they're involved to death. Okay? I will say that it involved a death, but I'm not going to, he didn't do it. No, it involved a death, and it had to do with drugs, and he was present. Doesn't necessarily mean that he put the needle in her or whatever the case was and anything else, but he ended up going down the river for a very, very long time. And in the state of Florida, there's a 0 tolerance rule for it. 0. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I know quite a few people that have been in and out. I had this idea because I seen a particular radio show on TV, a sports talk show on TV. I don't want to get booted off for saying the guy's name, but it was a huge success. It was done a couple of years ago, and then all of a sudden you didn't hear from the guy anymore. Well, I wasn't just trying to market just one of them. I have opened this phone lines to multiple prisons throughout the Florida Department of Corrections, Illinois Department of Corrections, New York, New Jersey, Georgia, Virginia, the whole 9 yards. It's starting to spread like wildfire. If they know sports, that's great. I don't want someone coming out here going, hey, man, what's up? What are you doing? I just want to talk to somebody. No, they have to have some knowledge. It gives people something to look forward to. We as people take life for granted. Everybody has made mistakes. I can assure you of one thing. I know for a fact I've done stuff in the past that probably could have got me locked up. But you know what?
On a daily basis, it can get me locked up.
Right. But I haven't been. People take things for granted in life, and they just shouldn't. That's my hot take on jailbreaks.
Well, I like RJ. RJ's a good dude, man. I'm pulling for that guy. Let's free RJ. It's going to be the slogan on 1252 going forward.
Middle
3
finger
RJ, baby.
to Grady Judd. Grady Judd is the sheriff in Polk County down here just outside of Tampa Bay. I'm sure if you guys Google him, you will have seen him on national news. I mean, he gets up there after making a big drug bust, and he's got all the people
I
like,
think
like
this
70
asshole was
or
on
80 people.
Dateline, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, multiple times. And he just sits up there and says, I'm Grady Judd, and here's a picture. You see this feller here? Well, he's going to the pokey. That's what he's going to be doing. He shouldn't have messed with that 12-year-old now, okay?
I want to talk some puck.
Tom Kelley, give us the lineup. Our Blackhawks, our beloved Blackhawks, aren't going to be in there. Who's it going to be? Who do you like? Give me the Final Four. Give me who's going to make it to the Stanley Cup and who's winning it.
Well, for my own sake, I'm hoping Colorado comes out of the West and gets it all, because that'll take care of a nice little vacation if that happens. But I mean, coming out of the West, there are some heavy teams. I mean, St. Louis, Minnesota. People don't realize how hard.
Vegas?
I'm not a Vegas fan this year. They've had to overcome so much. I don't even think they get in the playoffs.
That bad, huh?
Yeah. And I mean, the Kings are right sitting in the second spot there in that division. Edmonton's always dangerous just because of McDavid and Draisaitl. I would look for. I don't know how the matchups are going to work out, but I would look for Colorado in either St. Louis or Minnesota to be the teams that are standing in the West. And out of the East, I mean, how can you go against Florida? They were winning again tonight, 3-0. Winnipeg was still smoking the pipe dream of, well, if we just win our last 9 games, we've got a good chance to get in the playoffs, as they head to the East Coast to take on Tampa, Florida, Pittsburgh, and I think Washington. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough trip.
When they go down tonight, that'll end that pipe dream, and I would go against Winnipeg the rest of the season until they at least get back home. I'd go against them every game, lay the goal if you can get that, a goal in regulation.
Really,
lay the goal and a half. Yeah, I think they will absolutely chuck it in once they're basically mathematically eliminated.
So give me
how
the
do you
two
feel
teams.
I'm sorry. How do you feel about the Flames, man? The Flames have been kicking ass all year. Kind of a surprising team. They got a lot of talent up there, huh?
I hate Daryl Sutter. Absolutely hate Daryl Sutter. They've actually scored in the past. It's always been they never scored enough goals to get there. This year they're scoring enough goals, and they've got a goaltender who gets hot in Markstrom that can. He certainly can win a series for you. I mean, they're dangerous. But I'd put Colorado. I mean, I think Colorado's an overwhelming favorite to come out of there. And then coming out of the East, I think it'll be Tampa or Florida. I know you've got the team like Pittsburgh and Washington. And Washington, I mean, they're scoring at a pace that they're usually happy to win a 3-2, 2-1 game.
Right.
This year, they're scoring goals. I mean, and they've had to, because their goalies have either been absolutely awesome or they've been horrible. I mean, they give up.
Right.
They go stretches where everything's 3-1, 4-1. They're winning, and then the next thing it's 7-5, 6-4.
Right. So they struggle in the net for sure. There's 2 other teams that I want to bring up to you. They're kind of my sleeper teams coming out of the Eastern Conference. One, I really hate the New York Rangers, so I hope they shit the bed fast and quick, because I hate that. I hate every New York sports team.
They're a great team. They're a great team in the Garden, and
I hate New York, and it's known. I hate everything New York. But the one team that's kind of quick, that's another team. I really like the Penguins this year. Kind of, like you were saying earlier, Pittsburgh, they can score. Crosby having another nice year. But another team that I really like that nobody's really talking about that I can see being a dark horse. And I want to ask your opinion on this, because I know you're a big Puck fan. And I was talking to Carmen DeFalco about this from ESPN Chicago the other day too. The Boston Bruins. Nobody's talking about this team, and I don't understand why. They're a good team. Please explain this to me.
Well, I think it's this year, it's the fact that the goaltending situation, basically the roster is the same as it has been for the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
When it comes to your top forwards and defensemen, other than not having Zdeno Chara there anymore. But it's the goaltending now. It's Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. I mean, and Ullmark's hurt right now. I mean, Ullmark was a guy who came from Buffalo. They didn't want him. They shipped him over to Boston. I question their goaltending. And that, I mean, if you're going to come out of the East, my guess would be somebody. I do like your Pittsburgh pick. I mean, they just every year they've got it's guys.
They're always there.
Yeah, I mean, Gunsel this year is close to 40 goals again. Chris Letang is one of the premier defensemen. But I would think if somebody comes out of the East, that'll be a dark horse other than the 2 Florida teams. It would be Toronto. But again, they've got big time questions in goal.
Well, they always shit.
What are the chances, Tom?
Yeah, I love when they do because, my God, I swear to God, 80% of Twitter is Maple Leaf fans. I don't know where they come from. And 60% of those are women. I see more Mrs. Future Miss Marner handles on there and shit.
I want to be a future Miss Matthews. I mean, to be honest with you, let's get
Maple Leaves, eh?
Why not like his porn mustache there?
Oh, I know, right?
Maple Leaves, eh?
Yeah,
they're a good team, man. And, it's finally nice to see. I love
calling them the Maple Loafs, and that just the hell out of all those.
Tom, you've mentioned the both Florida teams twice, actually more than that, like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, they're impressive.
Do you anticipate the Tampa Bay Lightning can repeat again? And if not, why?
I believe they can. Like I said, I am just.
They got to get healthy.
So sold on Colorado. And I don't want to. But yeah, Tampa can. They've got that same core. Stamkos in the front is one. Victor Hedlund in the back. The goaltending is strong. Vasilevsky. I mean, it just. They've got basically the same core of guys as we talked about earlier. They change around the guys on the 3rd and 4th lines. All of a sudden, you got guys you don't know, or somebody moves up from a 3rd or 4th line into a 2nd or 1st line position, and they score goals. They are more than capable of outworking you. They're more than capable of out-hitting you. And God knows they're more than capable of.
In my opinion, honestly, the reason why I like Tampa Bay so much is that they're one of 2 teams that actually finishes their checks.
Yep.
Honestly, in all of the NHL, that's the only reason I like Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Other than that, I can't fucking stand them, and I hope they choke.
Kucherov, if they stay healthy, I mean, they've got their defense. I mean,
tell us how you really feel.
A good young defenseman that moves the puck. They've got everything you need, and how they have it every year for the last 5 years is beyond me because
it's because they cheat, Tom. Now tell us how they cheat. How do they cheat? Explain it to us. Explain it to all the Tampa Bay.
Lost it in a hurry.
Now tell us how they cheat.
Well, you're not privy to that information.
Tom, let me ask you a question about the Chicago Blackhawks since we just mentioned that again. What do they have to do? Will this team get better next year? Or does it need to be, or do they finally have to just resign to the fact that they got to get rid of, God, I hate to say this,
Jones immediately because he fucking sucks.
Taves and Kane.
Yeah.
And start getting some draft capital.
If you can get rid of Taves for something, that's fine by me. I would not want to get rid of Patrick Kane. I believe he's still got enough years left in him to be part of, if you're talking maybe a 2-year rebuild, if he can tolerate it.
Hang on, Mike just lit a candle, so I have to do this.
You ready? I'm setting the mood here. I'm setting the mood for the death of my Blackhawks. Yeah,
you ready?
I mean,
yeah.
God forbid they
here you go,
Diesel baby.
Come on, Tom, we're playing that funk. Hold on, Tom.
It's Vin Diesel time, dude. 4'6" with a 2-foot prick. It's all about family. Vin Diesel, baby.
All about family, baby.
Vin Diesel.
Come on, show everybody the mood candle you just lit up.
Here it is. Here it is, guys. My mood candle. Getting it going.
Nice.
Setting the tea lights up. I'm gonna start stripping here in a minute. Tom, you don't have to stay on for
That's
that
when
one.
the music
no.
just that's when the music just stopped.
That's when I
Tom.
go make another
That's when the
drink.
music stops and it's just me sitting back here with a Twinkie in my hand and a hot dog in the other. You know?
Tom,
That
we're going to go ahead and
wasn't a
switch
Twinkie, my
gears here.
friend.
We're going to switch gears here because we're going to talk about something a
Well,
little bit different. I know you
really
wanted to
quick. I
talk hockey. Go ahead.
I do want to say, as we're on the topic of hockey, and this is no bullshit. On a serious note, Pat Foley's last game last night was phenomenal. I don't know if anybody watched it here in the Chicagoland area. I know I did. It was absolutely amazing. Sad to see Pat Foley go. So congratulations on a guy that I led into my living room for my entire life calling Blackhawks games. I absolutely love Pat Foley, and he's definitely going to be missed.
Who's taking
And
over?
secondly, today, one of my favorite players of all time has been battling cancer for a long time, passed away today in Mike Bossy. Just unbelievable career. Mike Bossy, New York Islander, fucking phenomenal player. One of my favorite players, a guy that I idolized growing up. 9 seasons in the league, fucking 500 goals. I mean, absolutely phenomenal player. It's just, you couldn't ask for a better teammate, anything like that. He was just the epitome of awesome when it came to hockey. And just 2 sad notes in 2 consecutive days. It breaks my heart being a hockey fan to see both those guys go.
I mean,
that is a shame.
I don't hesitate to say that I think Bossy was probably the premier sniper
Yes.
of hockey. I mean, guys have all these other skills and all that, but you give Mike Bossy enough room to barely fit a puck in there. It can be an inch on either side. He would fit it in there. I mean, it was the run those Islander teams had when they won 4 straight cups.
Yep.
Was incredible. And the classy players they had, other than maybe Billy Smith, but he was always good for starting a good brawl. But I mean, the Butch Gorings, the Nyströms, Potvin, Bossy, Trottier. I mean, those were teams.
Unbelievable fucking teams. And like I said, guys, 10 years. He played 10 years total in the league. 2 years he wasn't, or the last year he wasn't all that healthy. We all know that he had really bad knees and back issues. Even on bad knees and back issues, the fucking guy still put in 38 points or 38 goals and 37
assists. It wasn't about
assists.
the skating for him. It was being in position, get him
right.
Like
he was unbelievable.
Ovechkin is now on the power.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. I was just going to say that you beat me to the punch. Everybody knows exactly, that spot off the left point where Alex Ovechkin just sits and gets that feed and just snipes in fucking goal after goal after power play goal after power play goal.
A lot of Bossy tapes.
Yes, I assume that as well. He probably watched Mike Bossy from the time he was shitting in his Pampers all the way on because Mike Bossy was the man. I mean, just unbelievable. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 60-goal seasons in 10 years.
And they weren't scoring goals at 5, 6 a game back then
right.
either.
Exactly. It's just unbelievable player.
3-2 game it was normal, and that was 4-2 or 5-2. God forbid that was. Didn't anybody play defense?
Yeah, no shit.
Now it's just normal. That's another thing. The NHL this year, it's almost followed the pattern of basketball. I've seen more 7s listed in totals for hockey this year than I've seen since back in the Edmonton, Gretzky, Messier, Curry days and shit like that.
Well, even plus minuses have gone out the window nowadays, and it's for something like Mike Bossy to end up with a career plus 380. I mean, that's huge. I mean that's fucking every time he was on the ice, nobody fucking scored, and he did all the scoring. I mean, that's exactly what.
If 10 years he's plus 380, so just figure plus average plus 38 a year. When you're only scoring 4 and 5 goals total in a game,
unbelievable,
7 or 8 or 9,
right?
Pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. So sad notes on both ends, and that's enough puck talk for me. I know Tom. I
appreciate it.
I wouldn't have done my diligence because I'm a big hockey guy too up here. I've played from the time I was fucking 4 years old on. My brothers and I, every time it was wrestling and hockey. That's what we did. I'd wake up, my brother would kick me out of bed, go skate on the pond 2 hours before I had wrestling practice. After wrestling practice, I'd go to the ice rink and play hockey. And it was what it was like every day in the winter. So hockey's huge in my family. It's just those two guys I wouldn't be doing it diligence. I wouldn't be doing myself a service and anybody a service without recognizing both those situations that happened over the last 2 days.
Definitely.
Tom, I have a question about baseball for you.
Sure.
The Chicago Cubs. First off, when we start talking gambling, we never bet with our heart, do we?
No, that's a big
You can't.
no-no.
And if you do, you just stay away.
Yeah,
Okay.
unless you're, you want to play something for $25 or something
Nope.
like that. Whatever
Nope.
your bankroll limit is,
I
$10 one play, whatever.
You know,
But no, it's best off to just stay away.
over under 73 games. I personally think they're going to be a 500 club or better. I'm going to go I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, that by the All-Star break, this team will be actually shopping for players because they're either going to be in first or a couple of games out of first. And the reason why I say that is because I think St. Louis and Milwaukee are both overrated. Your thoughts?
I agree with you completely. I think that division is completely overrated right now. But having said that, a disclaimer, I did bet the over.
You fucking guys are higher than I am, and I'm the one that's smoking weed. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
No, you bet the over as well?
Yeah, for Milwaukee. But I do think that division is overrated. I think St. Louis is due for – I think they've overachieved for way too long now. But I do think the Cubs will be close to 500 exactly. Management has said we are not in a complete rebuild. This is, if you take them for their word on that, that's they're trying to tread a little water here, and if something comes out, that I think they will be.
I think they're going to surprise some people. I don't really respect the division. And for those reasons, why I think the Cubs are going to sneak up on some teams. There's always one or two teams in the National League as well as the American League that play extraordinary baseball in the first half, and they kind of peter out because it's either they don't believe in the team or they're just really not that good enough, and it really starts to show in the second half of the season they don't have enough arms.
Yep.
But that's why I think this team's going to be better, just for the mere fact that it's a weak division. It's not like it used to be. I was talking with Mike earlier about the Cubs from last year. I'm sorry, in particular about the Milwaukee Brewers. The past couple of years, they've just been a real dominant team, and they've gotten away with a lot of smoke and mirrors. Granted, they got great pitching, but they have no sticks. And some of the hardest things to do, just like in football, you can play defense. And if you stay healthy for 1 year, you got a chance on going to the Super Bowl and winning it all. It's the same thing in baseball. The problem with this is they got no sticks, and they're not going to go 3 consecutive years without this injury bug that's hitting them. They've been pretty blessed, man. And I'll tell you what, I've watched them very closely. As a matter of fact, with the record that I have this year, it's not stellar, but I'm doing okay. Out of my losses, 3 of the 4 losses were on picks, not the over and under. There was one over and under, the Cubs at Colorado. I really thought it was going to go over 11 runs. It didn't go into game 1. But the 3 losses that I have, they're not favorites, Tom.
Nope.
Okay. I bet a lot of home dogs. Last year in baseball,
be playing any kind of big favorite at this point in the year in baseball.
Last year, you can ask Mike, 47-14 in baseball, 43 dogs.
Wow.
Okay.
That's strong.
I don't bet parlays very often. You don't bet teasers in football. You've got to make straight wagers. If you want to make parlays, they got to be babies.
Right.
Okay. Take the teams that you do like, bet straight money on them.
Yep.
It's simple as that. You don't have to bet every race, just like betting every game. Trust me, there's another 12 races tomorrow or 10 races, whatever track you're going to. It's just like the following week. You don't have to keep chasing your money, because I'll tell you what, there's 2 things in life with gambling you never want to do. Chase your money and bet with scared money. You do those 2 things, and I promise you're going to lose.
Yep.
You're not going to pay your electric bill, and you're not going to eat. I'm an advocate for gambling, but responsibly. Period. The end. Yep. And if you don't do your work, don't bet. Don't bet because you got to have. If you don't do your work, don't bet because you're going to sit there and watch your money just float out the window. Sure, you're going to get lucky sometimes. And
we've all done that so many times. Like, you walk into a night and go, like, I got no business playing tonight. I haven't had time to look at anything. And you're all right when you could walk away that night then.
You have to.
And maybe what you had circled to look at goes 5-0, but you walked away because you didn't look into it enough. And if you do that enough times, you're probably going to go 0 for 5 more times than 5-0. So
You
if
can't.
have
And then there's
time
time.
to look at it, back
And
away.
Tom, and then there's times that the horseshoes just stuck up your ass and everything you throw up against the wall just sticks. It just does. Okay. But trust me, those days are very far and few. And you have, even when you have those big winning days, it doesn't mean you have to keep pounding. And for those of you that don't understand what pounding means, that means keep betting more and heavier and increasing your wagers. Always bet within your means. That's the whole key in gambling.
Yep.
You have to come up with a bankroll that is acceptable for you. Like, for instance, I had a text message in Facebook, and it was from a very good friend of ours that actually watches the show. And he says, hey, Tiger Woods is 50-1 or 40-1 to win the Masters before it started. Should I throw a 50 on it? And I'm looking around going, there's a reason why he's 40 and 50-1. I myself don't have the nads to do that. I understand, because if it would have been a great story, Tiger Woods wins it, he puts $50 on it, you cash for 2 dimes. It's a great story. I understand it. Well, what were the why was he 40 and 50-1? Trust me, 40 and 50-1 shots don't grow on trees. And I think Tom will agree to this. Price always makes up for the pick. You understand what I mean by that, Tom?
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
A lot of people.
Whoa.
And by the way, this is Bandit.
Invaded.
and this is Bandit. Say hello to Bandit. Bandit, what do you think about the Cubs this year? You think they're going to do it, buddy? Here, what do you think? No? Oh. Here you go, Mike. There were no animals hurt during this segment.
There you go.
It's definite. I mean, if you're not laying big money favorites like that, then that percentage comes into play again, where you have to hit only 54%, 56%, whatever it is, to beat the juice. When you start laying 150 and 160, so now you're laying 160 to win 100, and you start losing those games, it just the cliff to get up, it's an insurmountable.
I promise you, Mike's first year around me was last year. And when we were talking football, there were some games where he'd be like, what? Huh? Really? Why? And he remembers those weeks.
Oh, yeah.
He remembers those weeks because they were usually underdogs. I can't help but stay away. I can't stay away from against a home dog. For those of you that are gambling out there and you have an account,
but I also picked the Bengals. Yes,
you did. You also picked the Bengals twice in the regular season and said they had no chance, and they didn't. But anyway, we were not going to go there. For those of you that have accounts like with PointsBet or BetUS or whoever, have a few dollars in your account. Take this advice. If you're going to bet baseball, don't look for the sexy pick with Garrett Cole on the mound. Turn the page, because you're going to be minus 300 on the road. Just turn the page. If you cannot bet the home team when they're on the road with Garrett Cole on the mound to get plus 250 or even plus 300, don't bet it, because you're laying way too much juice. Find one home underdog or one very, very small favorite at home per day. And at the end of the week, I promise you will be up. Because when you do lose, you're not going to lose all your winnings you've had throughout the course of the week, because it only takes one. It only takes one.
Yep. I mean, a perfect example of playing the dog is, if you're in Tampa, you should know this from that 4-game series that just concluded with Oakland and Tampa. Take a look if you played Oakland in every game in that series.
Oh, you won a fortune.
Yep. They were plus 195, plus 205 in the games they won. It's the game they lost. If you bet 100, you lose 100. It's. I mean, that series right there would have set you up. And it's this early in the season. Nobody's got any idea. Right now, I did not see scores yet tonight. I made 3 plays tonight in baseball.
Well, I got scores for you. You want them?
All right. Yep. I played the under in St. Louis and Milwaukee.
St. Louis and Milwaukee. Right now, it's 8-0. St. Louis is scoring all the runs. It's the bottom of the 5th. That doesn't look good for you.
That doesn't look. I played the under in the Sox game.
The Sox game, I think, is 3-2 in the 8th.
It's 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th, and it was what, 8.5?
Yeah, I played the over in the Toronto game.
You know what? That for some reason, Toronto is just not putting up runs. I did the same thing. That's one of my other losses. Toronto and Oakland. It's 4-1.
So those were and those were just small totals. But
and for those of you that are looking to make a wager, I always like to give out one pick. You don't have much time left. I like a road team here. It's Gutierrez and Gonsolin. Cincinnati Reds are on the road at the Dodgers. The total number is 9. I'm going to give you a small parlay. Very small. You're going to take the Cincinnati Reds plus 230 and play the over 9. Take it small. Play it for a quarter. You're going to turn around and win $100. It's a real nice, easy play. Personally, I'm only going to make a small wager on this because I don't really believe too much in it. I can't help myself because I'm sick and I want to be able to make a very, very small wager. And the only reason why I'm making a parlay is because I am up for the week, a significant amount of money. Otherwise, you couldn't catch me to play a parlay with my enemy's money. I just can't do it. I respect money way too much.
That's the only place I differ from you a little bit there is, especially when it comes to hockey and later in the season like this, I will put together 2 favorites or 3 favorites even at that point to get better than even money. Somewhere it's got to be at least better than even money. And I'll do it on the goal line in regulation where I'll lay 1. So if it ends up, they've got to win the game in regulation. You don't think they can win the game in regulation, you shouldn't be betting them.
No, but Tom, in all honesty, in hockey, you can play more parlays with a bigger success rate. Most professional gamblers that do play parlays have a bigger success rate in hockey than they do in the NBA, baseball, and the NFL combined. Right. I'm not kidding you.
No, hockey is I didn't really know that as a fact, but that is, that's what I seem to, because you get to this point in the year, otherwise you're not going to be playing anything other than a total or a huge dog or something like that, because you've got to. Like I played Florida tonight, and I left 2 open spots in a parlay.
Oh, they're if bets then, not if bets. They call them they're fill-in bets where you can fill them in later.
Exactly. But last night I had the last 3 games of the night. Was it Vancouver, Colorado? Somebody else at the end of the night, all win in regulation, laying 1, all covered. Ended up getting, I believe it was 146 for 100. So, so it was plus 146, and I'll take something like that. It's
a lot easier to hit parlays in hockey. It's a proven fact.
Yeah, I am not a parlay player in any other.
I didn't say I don't play them. I just said I really limit the amount of parlays because it's hard enough to pick a game, let alone 2 or 3.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%.
That's why when Calvin Ridley, and Harry the Greek does not approve of this, and I hate to talk in a third word, but 18 parlays, really?
Oh, yeah, you see these guys, it comes up, they had $20 a free play or something on one of these sites.
I love it, the free play. And they don't realize, hey, they gave me $500 in free play. Now they own you.
Yep.
Now you're the book's bitch. That's exactly what it is. Exactly. Now you have to bet $20,000 just to get your $500 back. What are you kidding me? Keep your free play. As a matter of fact, the only thing I want you to give me a bonus, a rebate like I get with any of the places that I wager at. What do you think I'm going to give them my money? If they want my action, I have to get a rebate.
It's the same for horse racing for big players.
Right.
If you're going to play money, you better find a place that is going to rebate you.
Yep.
The takeout of pari-mutuel pools and horse racing is hard enough to make money. The juice in sports, hard enough to make money, and then beating the spread. So if you don't have some kind of advantage of a rebate, don't try it unless you're just recreation and just
Tom,
or you got it to piss away. That's
Tom, at one time, I was wagering so much that with the credit lines that I had with some of the books that I was dealing with the offshore companies, not books for sports, but books with pari-mutuel wagerings, legit companies, my rebates with the credit lines that I would use, all I would do is try to spread just to cash. My whole goal was to break even, and my rebates were 10 dimes a week on the average. Think about that.
Yep.
But the rebates were bigger because it was pari-mutuel wagering that you're not familiar with in greyhound racing. You ever know anything about dog racing?
Yeah, I mean, enough.
Right. Okay. There's always only 8 entries. There's no jockey.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
But for those of you that really want to get a kick out of something, when you're done with the show tonight, including Mike, I want you to go ahead and Google spider monkeys as jockeys on greyhounds. Go ahead and Google that. You will laugh your ass off. I'd love to tell you this quick story. And they stopped this back, I think it was in the 40s or the 50s. As a matter of fact, Derby Lane right here in St. Petersburg was the oldest continuous operating greyhound track in North America.
Love Derby Lane.
Derby Lane's incredible. My wife was, she worked there as a mutual teller for years. She's now currently the mutual manager at Tampa Bay Downs, and she's a former union member out of New Jersey for the Meadowlands and as well as Monmouth Park and a couple of other small tracks out there. But anyway, long story short, there'd be like a 25% takeout, even 28% takeout in greyhound racing.
It's
okay.
There's still horse racing jurisdiction the same.
But what I was talking about with the little monkeys, they had these little spider monkeys, Mike. They're about this big. And they would train them with the greyhounds. And what they would do is they put them on there and they would strap them on to the greyhound. So when the greyhound opened the box and it took off, these monkeys were so competitive. You see them taking their tails and they're whipping the dog going down the stretch. And if a dog was trying to pass them, he's leaning over and he's pulling the dog's ears. But what was a mess is when that greyhound got tripped over at the first turn because it was on an embankment and they start rolling over, the monkey started dying. Okay. I mean, I couldn't imagine Pete in today's day watching this happen.
Got enough to bitch about.
Okay. I'm not kidding you. It was horrible, man. Some of the videos you have to Google or go to YouTube and put jockeys and greyhounds. That's all I'm going to tell you. You will laugh. I mean, it's hilarious. You're not going to see any accidents, but it's hilarious because you can see the monkeys on top of them cleaning the dog's ears. Hey, this is my, and then they treat the monkey to ice cream because he won. But the funniest thing is they would take their tail and whip them. Absolutely whip the dog going down the stretch. Are you trying to look that up, Mike?
Yeah, I am right now.
That was, I had no handicapping theory when it came to greyhounds. I met a few guys out there at Dairyland up in Wisconsin when they were open, and they'd explain things to me about the classes of which were letters A, B, C, D, E, and dropping out. But my basic premise was I was going to take the 1 and 2 with the 8, figuring that the middle of the field was going to get wiped out in that turn, or I'd take the 1 in the first turn, or I'd take the 1 with the 7 and the 8 out there because, again, the middle of the pack was going to get wiped out in that first turn.
Well, Tom,
decent scores.
I'll tell you what, Tom, there's still a couple of dog tracks that are existing, and the pools are bigger than Hawthorne. I'm not kidding you.
I don't doubt it.
Okay, you have Wheeling Downs.
I went to Daytona more than a few times.
They're getting $25,000-$30,000 in their pick 4 pools. I'm not kidding you. It's just incredible. $30,000 and $40,000 in super pools. The 10-cent supers killed it
for big money too.
But here's the kicker. In greyhounds, we can watch replays just like we can in horse wagering. And I hope I'm not boring the crap out of everybody out there, but this is pretty interesting, and Tom's going to understand this. A greyhound does not have a jockey on its back and does the same thing literally every time, just like a horse. Some have early foot, some have a late foot. What you don't understand by that, some have early speed and come up short, and some dogs come out slow out of the box, but they gain really quick late. Some dogs run rail, some dogs run mid-track, some dogs like to run around wide. We look for position. There are some dogs that like to fight, hence the reason for the muzzles. And fighters generally don't like the win. They'll either go to the front and they'll wait for a dog to try to nibble on, or they'll break dead last and rush all the way up. It's a rarity that they win. That's why parimutuel wagering and greyhound racing is so much easier than it is in horse racing. But there's no pools. Again, there's no jockey on the back. You know, you don't have Jose or Irad or Joel Rosario taking a horse out for a joyride that he's sitting on a 1-9 going, you know what? I haven't been out in almost a year on this horse. I know I'm 1-9, but these people don't realize we're just out here breezing this horse today. We're not even going to ask for him. As a matter of fact, we're going to stand up on the horse. How would you like to have $1,000 on the nose on that horse? And then you're seeing the jockey coming out of the gate, just strangling the horse. It happens every day, folks.
Yep.
Every day, but not on a greyhound. Not on a greyhound. They don't. So if you ever get a chance, you have greyhound racing for the rest of this year in Southland, which is in West Memphis, which is Tennessee-Arkansas border. And the two tracks that are in West Virginia. You have Tri-State and you have Wheeling. You have a greyhound racing track in Mexico in Tijuana. And you have a couple, but I don't like them. They're over in Ireland. They only run with 6 entries, and forget that. But I'll tell you what, you want to talk about some big pools? Australia, huge parimutuel greyhound racing. Huge. I mean, big time pools.
The Aussies will bet whether the sun will come up tomorrow.
Are you kidding me? The Scorpions. Hey, I got the Scorpion with the longer tail.
My trip to Australia, and my wife accused me of...
Hang on, I think Mike is seeing the video. Did you see it, Mike?
I am. I'm watching it right now. It's crazy. These little monkeys around these greyhounds are riding all over the place like crazy.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you have, Tom, you promised me you got to do that.
I will.
Okay, so going back to what we were talking about with baseball, let's get back to a team that matters, like the White Sox. What are they going to do about that 5th starter? Forget about the injuries. I think when they lost Garrett Crochet, that was a big loss for them, but I still think they have enough depth, especially in the bullpen, to be able to get there. Do you think they're in trouble because they don't have a 5th starter?
A lot of that will depend on the schedule and whether they end up with rainouts and weather outs or whatever. I don't. If they don't have to use that 5th starter as often, I think they'll be okay. I'm not convinced Dallas Keuchel is Major League Baseball material anymore. You might be able to trot him out there and get 3 or 4 out of him. And
he pitched well in his last game, Tom. I'm going to tell you right now, he pitched well in his last game. He was hitting the corners, man. Maddox didn't throw 90 miles an hour, and look where you got him.
And if he's to be believed, he wasn't healthy last year. So, you know, I could be wrong on that, but I mean, I think they've got a few guys that can plug into that spot, and that's going to be the key, is if those guys have any success.
What's your take on that, Mike?
The White Sox are in tough shape right now, man, with Giolito and both Lance Lynn in that situation. Although Keuchel did pitch well this last week.
No, but Giolito and Lynn are both coming back. That's the foregone conclusion.
They're going to come back. Yeah, they're going to come back. But that 5th starter spot, I mean, Keuchel, I mean, we know what he is. Last year, he got shellacked up and down the field almost every single start, walking everybody on the planet on every team. It's going to be tough for him. I mean, you never know. If he can come back and face another 5th starter in a rotation and match zeros with another 5th starter, then I think it's a win. He's not an ace. He's not a number 2 anymore. He's not a 3 anymore. He can't put up zeros with those top 3 guys in the rotation. So his best bet is to place him at the end of the lineup and see how it works. And hopefully he can match zeros that way on a guy who's going to have a higher ERA that he's opposing against. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I brought it up. He's probably got the best stuff on, not the best stuff. He's got one of the best stuff on the entire staff. He just has a hard time finding the plate sometimes. Mr. Ronaldo Lopez. He'll strike out 15 in one game and give up 15 runs in the next. But I'll tell you what.
The White Sox
but I'll tell you what, right now, he looks really good. He's looked good since late last year. And I think putting him in the bullpen has done that. Do you think giving him a spot start would help him?
Yes. Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to hurt. I mean, he's been a starter once before. He knows what it takes. I mean, of course, if he can go out there and get a spot started as a fifth man rotation guy, yeah, of course, it's not going to hurt. But is he a guy that you can rely on throughout the rest of the year? No. But I also don't think, like you and I were talking earlier, Harry, I don't think the plan of action is to go out and trade for Frankie Montas out of Oakland either.
No, I don't want to see Frankie Montas in the
he's
Chicago
not
White
that
Sox
guy.
uniform because everybody's anticipating it's going to cost an Andrew Vaughn.
Right.
Okay.
And don't forget, they also just signed Cueto. Cueto will make a spot coming up here.
I like Cueto. I like that pickup. I really
Bartolo
do.
Colon all over it.
No, but he will though. Johnny Cueto will make a start for the White Sox this year. He may get you to where everybody's healthy again.
Yep.
Definitely.
There's no reason you're going to keep this guy at what fucking $3.8 million a year down in AAA. It's not going to happen. You're definitely going to bring him up. You got to have him spot to start here or there. He will be a guy, but then again with him, just like Giolito, just like Lance Lynn, just like Rodon used to be, he's a guy that you cannot count on. He's a guy that does not eat innings anymore. He's old. He's long in the tooth. He does not get the job done anymore. He doesn't log 160 innings anymore. Is that the guy he's always hurt?
Yeah, going back to Lopez too, I agree. He's got to get those spot starts because he's a guy, I think that his stuff is so good. It moves so much. You can't bring him in a situation where he can't afford to walk one guy. I mean, I think that I don't think he.
But that's where he's been excelling at right now.
I know, and that's the strange part is so maybe somebody has got him figured out that gotten into his head, but his ball moves as much as anybody's on that staff. I mean, when he's on, he's basically unhittable. But there always seems to be some mistake and blow up that happens that he just implodes.
Troy Polamalu says, if Watson starts the first game, you owe me a K.
It's pretty much already done and deal that he's going to be out the first 6 games of the year.
I think it's going to be longer than that. Troy Polamalu says, are you interested in cat racing? If you are, bring Bandit. Christopher Cole says, I should have put money on Tiger Woods to make the cut and not to win. I don't bet on anything because I got gun shy. No, that's true. And, you did the right thing and you asked me, Chris. I mean, let's just be honest.
That bet cost me a ton of money. I took Tiger not to make the cut. And I told the guy as they started that second round, I need Tiger to shoot 80 today. And he
God.
Like
and what did he shoot?
He was headed for 85, baby.
Oh, God.
He was 4 over in the first 5 holes, and I'm like, yes.
And Troy says we call him Tiger Hoods. That's funny.
Despite that there was a time that was the Masters. I think overall I was like 7-2 in bets and ended up like plus $30. That's because of that one bet that I was sure Tiger wasn't making the cut.
That's funny. Tom, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Remember, I'm an hour ahead of you guys, but you know what's even nicer? What's it, like 42 degrees there?
Oh, no.
Yeah, for some reason, it's hot as balls in my office.
Tonight?
83 in my office here.
Oh, and 83 in the office. Well, I got the AC on. It's like still 82 outside. Just letting you know.
I'm ready to turn the AC on right now. I'm fucking cooking in my office here. It's ridiculous.
Tom, I appreciate you coming on the show this evening. I had a really good time. This was a kind of a very organic show. I had a whole format set out, but that went out the window. But that's okay, man. We got to get. We had a chance to get you on here. You were part of Prison Break Hot Takes, which I thought was pretty cool. If I am going to go back into the show and try to capture your reaction when it said, you have a prepaid call from an inmate at a Florida Department of Corrections. To accept this call, press 0. And Tom's going,
yeah, he's like, what the?
What am I getting set up for here?
What exactly happened here? Did I get called on to talk to
There was some guy going, hey, Tom, man, I'm sitting in here, but when I come out, you owe me, bro.
Yeah.
Where's my child support, man?
Yeah.
Hey, it's been great. I'd love to be a part of it any Friday, anytime you guys need anything.
Tom, you're going to love it. We're going to have you on. I'm going to have you on. We're going to talk a little horse racing, especially getting closer to the Kentucky Derby. I do want to touch on a few things on there. I'm definitely going to find people going to sleep when we're talking about it. But you know what? We just might get a few people to go out there to Hawthorne
And you might
or go
find
to
a
an
new
OTB
audience.
and go ahead and take some advice. Because you know what? It ain't cheap to play with the Greeks sometimes. Okay, I'm not giving you an $18 pick 4 play. I'll
You're
tell you to
not
go
the
take
bank.
I'll tell you to go take your $18 and go buy 2 beers and a hot dog. Okay, you want to cash, you got to spread.
I'm with you 100% there. It's those guys that can find those singles in 2 or 3 of the 4 races or 5 races. God bless them. I can't.
Hey, you know what? I can find a single, sometimes a double, and I'm sweating like a whore in church. Okay, I'm not kidding you. It gets pretty interesting. Tom, I want you to say goodnight to everybody, brother.
Good night, everybody. Been an absolute pleasure being here with everybody. And once again, wish RJ the best. Everybody have a great Easter, and hope to see you down the road real soon.
Happy Easter to you too, sir. And by
Take
the
care,
way,
TK.
by
I'll
the way,
talk to you soon, my man.
you can give a shout out to RJ because he's actually watching us. We just can't say that when he's on the phone, brother. Okay, RJ, we love you, brother.
Yep.
Take care, Tom.
Thanks, guys.
It's amazing that RJ can watch us and not porn.
We didn't say that, but Mike, did you see the look on poor TK's face?
I know. He's like, what the fuck is going on here?
You have a prepaid call from an inmate at a Pinellas County or whatever it was. But what I really wanted to do was prison break. Hot take. Or don't drop the soda.
That was cool, man. I liked talking hockey with TK because I mean, it's something that we don't get a lot to touch on here at 1252 because not everybody's a big puckhead. But I mean, it was really nice talking some hockey tonight. It was a lot of fun talking with him about what's going on here with the upcoming with the playoffs, just about the turnaround and stuff. So it was real cool.
TK is awesome. Mike, don't forget, usually on Wednesday night you have your show. The next show I think is coming up. Is there a show tomorrow? That's with Mike on the Mic, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Mike on the Mic will be on tomorrow, and then Jacob Charnow on Sunday. Possibly a David Schuster show on Sunday. I don't think so though, because that's when the Bulls play. And then Harry the Greek back or Harry.
Oh, we got our boy. We got the retired man from the score, Mr. Fred Huebner on Monday night.
Fred Huebner back on Monday night, which will be a good show. So it'll be a lot of fun. Lots of stuff going on here at 12.
I'm going to have to figure out a way, Mike, that I got to send you the picks on a daily basis. Just go ahead and put them on there, and let's just see how it's going to be received. Right now I'm 2 for 2 this evening. I'm looking for one more for tonight, and I'd be really happy.
There you go.
Mike, thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for the last minute thing. I appreciate it, man. You take care of yourself, okay, bud?
Great time. You have a great night.
Anytime, bud. Take care. Wow, that was an interesting evening. We had a prison break hot take. Loved the look, from our buddy TK. Fat Mike, it was the first time he got a chance to talk to RJ. I thought everything went really nice and smooth. I think it was great. So you know what? Tell us what you think. Go ahead and leave this on your timeline. Go ahead and post this on someone else's timeline. This is how we grow organically. And make sure you definitely like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. You guys have a really good evening. And Harry the Greek always says, keep your bets low and your returns high. We'll see you next Friday. Oops, I can't do it that way. Boy, that really stunk. You know what? They got this all screwed up here. Talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot.